Welcome to the Sugar Freedom Channel. The purpose of this channel, the primary purpose, is to help anyone who has ever experienced obesity. Beyond that, it's to help anyone who wants to get off of sugar for good. Today's subject is I'm going to be doing the Alt sliding scale diet for the next 60 days. What is the Alt sliding scale diet? This was written by Dr. Altshuler, and this is available on Kindle on Amazon.com. All of Dr. Altshuler's books are quite short, very quick and easy to consume. I have the Kindle Unlimited subscription, and so able to read them as part of that subscription. The interesting thing about the Alt sliding scale diet is I was attracted to the book. I decided to read it because it was dealing with issues of dopamine, hypertension, and insulin resistance. And I was shocked to discover when I read the book that what Dr. Altshuler recommends is a period of what I will call carb freedom. You know, I'm the sugar freedom woman. And this is a period literally of freedom from carbohydrates. I'm going to read, listen to what he did. Now, what's interesting about Dr. Altshuler, he's originally from Russia. He was born when it was still the USSR. He's never had a weight problem, but he has had issues with hypertension, bleeding gums, depression, insomnia. Listen to what he was eating on this Alt sliding scale diet. Here we go. I did not eat any carbs for a long time. All I was eating were different varieties of meat, fish, seafood, eggs, and cheese. I felt perfectly well in regard to my mood and sleep. I completely recovered from anxiety, intermittent mild depression, and chronic insomnia. I completely recovered from anxiety, intermittent mild depression, and chronic insomnia that I suffered for a long time, having insulin resistance. Then I decided to add some fruits and vegetable that I liked to eat before. I will say vegetables, but it says vegetable here. What this reminds me of is what he went back to after he had done his Alt sliding scale diet. He went back to something that sounds a whole lot like sugar freedom. So he didn't add grains back or sugar back, but he did add back his favorite fruits and vegetables. What I am going to suggest, not recommend, I am a woman who has overcome and recovered from obesity. I'm not a registered dietitian. I'm not a medical doctor. Now, Dr. Altshuler, yes, he is a medical doctor and a board certified psychiatrist. But I will say that if you're going to make a radical change to your diet, please talk to your doctor. This is what I always say. Number one, for your health and safety. And number two, we want the medical community to understand what we're doing, and if it works, we want them to see the results so that we can continue to grow acceptance and awareness of reduction of carbohydrate, even elimination of carbohydrate as a possibility, and then adding back some saturated fat, and this concept of it may be possible to safely eat saturated fat in the absence of sugar, grains, and processed vegetable and seed oils. So this is what I am going to be doing for the next 60 days. I'm going to be following the Alt sliding scale diet, and I will go ahead and I will post the link to this book in the notes for this video. I also want to talk about the 2020 challenge, which I finished just a couple of weeks ago. It went really, really well. The 2020 challenge is a ketogenic challenge. 20 grams of carbohydrate, 20 minutes of exercise, 20 days. And it went very, very well. I lost 4 pounds. Awesome. 4 pounds in 20 days is excellent for me. I was already at a healthy weight in terms of BMI, just wanting to get a little bit leaner, and it was very effective. But the most important thing I wanted was to trim my waistline a bit. Probably the one measurement that is the most important to me about overcoming obesity, maintaining a healthy body composition is the waistline measurement. Back when I was 17, I was measured for, we used to show horses, for an outfit that you wear to show a horse. And my measurements were taken. At that point, my waist, I know, was 24 inches. According to research, if we can maintain the waistline within 2 inches of what it was when we first reached maturity, and I know 17 probably isn't maturity, but if we can maintain within 2 inches, we can generally have a better chance of preventing diabetes type 2, certain cancers, metabolic syndrome, even dementia and Alzheimer's. It's maintaining that waistline, maintaining even waist to hip ratio. So trying to stay within 2 inches of 24 means trying to stay within 26. And I had, over the course of, I had had the opportunity to sing at Carnegie Hall. And so I had been really good and tight with my diet, not only for my waistline, but also for my voice. An anti-inflammatory diet, one that is low in sugar and grains and vegetable oils, is going to keep those vocal cords healthy and happy, because any kind of inflammation is going to limit the ability of the vocal cords to tighten, relax, and vibrate, correct? Very important to keep things really, really healthy going into the opportunity to sing at Carnegie Hall. After I came back, so this would have been March 17th is when we sang, I loosened things up a little bit. So between March and, of course, my husband had his birthday, I had my birthday, my son graduated from high school. There was a lot of celebration during that time from spring into summer, and I had regained some weight. And so I was wanting to tighten things back up with the 2020 challenge, which is what I did. Best part of that is my waistline did come back to 25.5 inches. Awesome. So that's within that 2 inches of 24, which keeps me in that healthy range. Going forward, for the next 60 days, doing the alt sliding scale diet, I am looking to bring that waistline back to 24 inches. I have done it in the last 5 years. Many of you who follow this channel may know that it was in 2008, and now it's 2019, that I was able to finally permanently overcome decades of overweight and obesity. And in 2008, I reached a healthy weight for my height, and I've never gone above a healthy weight for my height since. However, I do want to make things a little bit leaner, a little bit tighter. And so this is why I am going to the alt sliding scale diet and doing a very, very, very super low carbohydrate nutrition strategy. One of the reasons he wrote this book was dealing with dopamine and getting the dopamine receptors to wake up again as a result of lowering insulin levels. So the whole point of this strategy, whether you do it for 30 days or for 60 days, I'm going to go for 60 days. The whole point of it is to improve insulin sensitivity, to recover from insulin resistance. Insulin resistance, oh my goodness. The more we understand about it, the more we realize that it is at the root of so much suffering in modern society. So many of the things that we are doing are keeping the brain from producing and responding to dopamine the way it should. And so we're reaching for the sweets, we're reaching for all kinds of different experiences and foods to try to pump that dopamine back up so we can just feel good. What Dr. Altshuler has done is given us a template and a strategy for reducing hyperinsulinemia and getting that dopamine back online. And of course, we're also dealing with neurotransmitters like serotonin as well, because we are human beings. We're only human, and we just want to feel good. And one of the ways that we can do that is to go ahead and get the sugar and the grains and the excess carbohydrates out of the nutrition strategy so that we can rebalance these neurotransmitters. Don't just take it from me, though. Please go ahead and get, I'm going to put my glasses back on. Go ahead and get Depression, Insomnia, Anxiety, How I Healed It All the Alt Sliding Scale Diet. And I think it's really interesting. Let's look at that title again, shall we? Depression, insomnia, anxiety, how I healed it all. It's not just about weight loss, and it's not just about fat loss. Because Dr. Altshuler has never been overweight, but he has experienced the other symptoms of insulin resistance that are still limiting his quality of life. So if overweight, obesity, depression, insomnia, anxiety, any of these issues are reducing your quality of life, I hope that you will get this book and continue to check back with the channel, and I will continue to share with you my experience with doing the Alt Sliding Scale Diet. Remember, this is a period of time where we are in pursuit of resetting our insulin and our dopamine sensitivity so that we can then transition, and this is why it's called the sliding scale diet, is that then you transition into a discovery of where your individual carbohydrate tolerance is. And this is where one might go back to if you have the Sugar Freedom Program. The Sugar Freedom Program describes my level of carbohydrate tolerance, which I overcame overweight and obesity with the elimination of sugar, grains, and processed vegetable oils. And what's interesting is that if you have sugar freedom, you have the 3-day sugar strike. And the 3-day sugar strike is a ketogenic strategy, because what I found in my experience is if I went to that classic Atkins induction ketogenic state, maximum of 20 grams of carbohydrate, this is when weight loss happened, motivation increased, sleep got better, all of these wonderful things. So that is in Sugar Freedom, Atkins induction. I did another video recently on this 2020 challenge, and I did a video about 20 grams of carbohydrate. I did a video about 20 grams of carbohydrate, 5 different ways. And I think that's very helpful because you can look at, okay, so what does 20 grams of carbohydrate look like? This is the next step. This is the step beyond that. This is the Altshuler sliding scale diet, which is a period of between 30 and 60 days where literally we're going carb free. So I guess we could say I've written Sugar Freedom. Now what I'm going to do is carb freedom. We're going to pull those carbohydrates out. And once again, I'm going to read it again because it's important. He talks about all I was eating, and this is Dr. Altshuler talking here, were different varieties of meat, fish, seafood, eggs, and cheese. Seriously, what I'm going to be doing, basically the meat, fish, eggs, seafood, poultry. I do have cream in my coffee, so I'm going to be having some cream in my coffee. I'm going to be really careful with the cheese. I find that it can increase my appetite, and as you can tell, I'm still going to be drinking coffee. So on my experiment, I'm not going to be giving up caffeine. However, I'm not going to be having a lot. I have, 2 cups in the morning, so I'm not drinking it throughout the day. I will be checking back in with you weekly to report on the Alt Sliding Scale Diet, and I hope that you will check it out because, as I always like to say, please ask your doctor about reducing carbohydrates and the safety of, in a sugar-free atmosphere, sugar and grain-free atmosphere, that under those conditions that it may be safe to eat saturated fat. But we do want to involve the medical community so that we can get them, quite frankly, get them on our side. I hope that you will watch some more videos. I hope you will like, subscribe, and share this video, especially if you know someone who is struggling with obesity, depression, insomnia, anxiety. Share this video and say, hey, there's this woman who's in her 50s who recovered from obesity 11 years ago and who hasn't gained the weight back. Watch some more videos. Check out my ketogenic videos on the 2020 challenge, and I'll see you back here very soon on the Sugar Freedom channel. Thanks for watching. Take good care. Bye-bye, everybody.